Yo, what is going on? Today I am excited to be unboxing now my second Spyderco. I didn't ever think that I would be saying those words, but after picking up my PM2, doing some mods, messing around with it, I gotta say, I understand the hype. These knives are absolutely fantastic. And while I'm still not 100% sold on the aesthetics of, blade shape and everything like that, this big old hump and everything. Uh, the ergos on these things are incredible, and it's fun to play with, and it's a joy to use. So I've always been hearing good things about the PM2, and I decided to go ahead and pick up another Spyderco that also has some exceptionally good reviews for it. So we'll see how this goes. This will be a pretty quick unboxing and overview. I will definitely be doing a full review on it at some point. I'll be doing a full review on this guy soon as well, because I've been carrying that for about a month or so. But this is from River's Edge Cutlery. This is my first order from them, and already I'm kind of liking it. Got band-aids because there's a good chance that I'm gonna cut myself. Knives are sharp, and I like playing with them. Try not to show you guys that. That is personal information that y'all don't need to see. That is kind of nice though. A little handwritten thank you. I like that. QR code, probably for something. Sticker. Always nice to get those. And our package. So, what do we have today? We have the Manix 2 lightweight in, oh, I like this blue. I love this blue actually. So it looks like pretty typical Spyderco stuff. Sticker, warranty information. So nothing special there, but let us check this bad boy out. Like I said just now, ooh, I'm liking this blue a lot. Can't quite tell if the little bit of dark in there is part of the scales. Kind of don't think so, but this feels very, very slim. What are we looking at in comparison to the PM2? It's only a fraction of an inch thicker, but it feels really slim. Let's see. Out of the box. Ooh. It's kind of a weak feeling detent, if I'm honest. Although I gotta say, crossbar-esque locks like this are typically a little on the weak feeling side, I've found, but oh baby. Yeah, that's feeling good. I gotta say, when I first got my PM2, I was a little disappointed, considering the action was not great. Now that I've been playing with it a bunch, and I've taken it apart a couple times, I've done a little tuning, it's buttery smooth. It is drop shut. I think I need to tighten a couple screws because I have not Loctited anything recently with taking it apart and dyeing the scales and whatnot. This was the 20CV version. You can see that. So this had tan scales before. Did a little bit of a RIT dye job on it, and I'm loving that. But this thing came with a ton of lock stick. And I think that has just kind of worked itself out now. A lot of it was due to, I think, some of the finish, whatever coating they have on both the blade as well as the scales, I think was causing some issues. And so now that that's worked itself out, fantastic. But this is night and day difference in terms of how it feels. Oh my God, that feels good. Yeah. So I wanted to go with the Manix. I'd been looking at the Para 3 as my next Spyderco knife for a while, because I wasn't sure if this was going to be a little too big for my tastes, for like a true EDC. It's a little longer than I usually like, and they're a little wide. Now, obviously this Manix is not that much slimmer, but I wanted to get something a little different. I didn't quite feel the need for a second compression lock yet, as much as I do love that thing. So I was like, you know what, let's check out the Manix, see how that ball bearing lock feels. I do really like the axis lock on my mini bug out, as well as my A lock on my Actinon Verba A100, but gotta say, this isn't quite as satisfying to Spydie flick as the PM2. I would say simply because there's a detent on this and it gives a nice snappy release, whereas this guy's got a little bit of a mushier release. But that being said, it feels absolutely fantastic. It's a little tight, and I don't know if that's just because of the pivot or what, but I was interested in the Manix 2 here because as far as I'm aware, this guy's completely linerless. So I was, intrigued. But yeah, I'm kind of liking this so far. It is definitely lightweight. I'm curious to see how the leaf blade performs. This looks like it's a super, super nice ergonomic style for doing, EDC type work and getting those utility type cuts and whatnot. So curious to see how that goes. The one issue, if you want to call it, with the PM2 that I have is, where the point is in line with your hand. You do have to kind of cock a little bit to get that tip into things, which, is not a big deal overall. But this, it's pointing down a little bit more. So I'm curious to see how that feels for doing those more utility type actions. Feels great to grip up on. This, I think they call it their bi-directional texturing. Feels nice and grippy without being overly aggressive. And I do like that this clip does land on this, although it looks like my clip is a little bent. That is one of the issues with wire clips sometimes, but just bend it back into the position there. And I'm probably going to end up getting a Lynch Northwest clip to replace this. I've been loving these lightning anodes, because this is not really anodizing with the heat coloring, but I'm probably going to end up doing that to a Lynch Northwest clip for this guy. And yeah, one issue that I did have with my PM2 was the blade grind was not super even. That is definitely very sharp out the box. Oh yeah. That's a lot better than the edge on my PM2 when I got it. So I am liking that. This is CTS BD1N. This is the first time that I've had this steel on any knives, and I'm curious to see how that performs. I've heard it's, not the best, but that it does sharpen and strop up real easily. Or it's not the best in terms of edge retention itself, but it should be pretty darn corrosion resistant, and then have a nice easy time sharpening back up to that really hair whittling sharp. But we'll see how that performs as we give this knife a little bit of work. Now, can't quite tell. It looks like this might be riveted, which if so, I'm a little bummed about, because I was thinking about looking at doing some custom scales for this myself. I've been working on putting custom scales together in what will end up being a fiberglass reinforced epoxy resin. These are non-reinforced, and I've been having some slight issues with them. So I'm still kind of in an R&D process, but I think that I'll be able to get some really cool colors and patterns for this, along with being able to keep a really reasonably inexpensive price point for them. So keep an eye out for those. You may or may not have seen my video on that, but you know what? I am loving this Manix 2 lightweight so far. It is, as the name suggests, definitely lightweight. Let's take a little look here. 2.8 ounces. So, you know, for a knife that has a, as far as I'm aware, just under 3.5 inch blade, that's a really good ratio. 2.8 ounces compared to, what is this guy? 3.8. So full ounce lighter than the PM2 in a very similarly sized package. I will be honest, I did not quite expect this guy to be quite as wide as it is. That's a chunky boy in the hand like that. But, ooh, yeah, it's feeling good. Choking up. Doesn't quite lock in the same way in the choked up position, since that thumb ramp is not quite as intense as on the PM2, but yeah, this is definitely going to be sitting in my pocket for a while. What are we looking at? Blade centering seems pretty good. It's maybe favoring the clip side a little bit, but that's not too bad. So yeah, I think I'm kind of rambling at this point, so we can probably cut this guy a little short here, but one more check. Is this a T10? No. T8. It looks like on the pivot. Yeah, T8 on the pivot. That was very loose. So, gonna have to do a little tune-in probably, just to get that perfect. Keep ourselves a nice little bit of a drop. I think that actually might have straightened that out a little bit. Ooh, yeah, no, that tightened up a bit too much. So on one plus side with that, it does not appear that there's any Loctite in the pivot screws here, which is kind of nice. It is nice to be able to, you know, mess around with that pivot a little bit, get everything tuned up, and then Loctite it yourself. It's a little tough to do with the position that I have to hold my hand in to get around the tripod here. But yeah, we'll do a little bit of messing around with the pivot there, get that Loctited up. And yeah, give this guy some pocket time and some use and see how it goes. Yeah, thanks for tuning in. Sorry to jabber at you, but we'll catch you guys on the next one. Take care.